Welcome back to class. Follow me on Twitter, Brycon_Raw for news updates, and of course for my life and everything else, Instagram, Brycon_Raw. Cheers. Okay, so basically what I was reading was this book called Dare to Trust by David Richo, right? R-I-C-H-O. And basically what he was talking about was, how much do we trust people? You know, how comfortable do we feel telling a stranger about our emotions, about our past, and stuff like that, right? So, as children, we don't care too much, right? We're overpossessive, and what happens is that because of this, there's no independence from our parents, right? Because what happens is that they try to shelter us, they try to contain us, and what happens is that because some of us live in very possessive households, it becomes a little bit more difficult to express ourselves, because we feel like we're safe, right? And because of that, because we're in a safe place, once we become adults, this becomes a little bit more difficult to express ourselves in society, because we're so used to having someone that is watching out for us, our parents, or lovers, or anything like that, right? So because of this no independence that comes from being sheltered, being pampered, there is no trust, right? Only in family. But we've known how crazy families can get. Now, what we're trying to do is knowing the first essential part, right, of assessing trust. Happiness should not be dependent on trusting people. It should be dependent on trusting yourself. This is the most important thing that you can ever learn in your whole entire life, and I will emphasize it again. Happiness is not being dependent on another person's trust. It's trusting yourself, right? So nothing is reliable. Just understand that. So you'll have situations where, you know, after 20 years, your partner just changes out of nowhere, right? It happens. You know, that's a philosophy that Buddha said, Siddhartha Gautama. He said that everything is in flux, so be prepared for change, right? So the best way to do this is paying attention, giving appreciation, finding someone that accepts you, right? And reciprocates it back, you to them, them to you, affection, and someone that just gives you the opportunity to actually let you be yourself, right? Because what happens is that sometimes we'll be consumed by inner conflicts, right? And this happens because for some reason we feel like we're inadequate and no one will love me, and it becomes this whole pattern of no one will love me. So people can see that. People will see that you obviously can't be trusted, so they're not going to trust you, or you don't trust people, right? The world is a safe place, right? So if you don't believe that, people will say you're not safe, so I'm going to stay away from you. We also do it because we've been hurt, right? Or we do it to ourselves, that pain. You know, I'm not adequate. I will do it over and over again. What is most important, what I said before, is that core trust. You know, you have to trust yourself. And the way you do this is just by telling yourself, I can do this, I can trust, and finding the evidence that you can trust people, yourself, society, anything you can think of. Of course, through trauma, it makes it a little bit more difficult because it's just one of those things that you don't want anybody else to go through. But of course, you're fighting yourself. But of course, there's other people that have been through what you've been through. You know, as big as the wound is, it's universal. Just understand that as well. So there will be people that will help you. And don't take that for granted at all, whatsoever. You know, just remember that however you feel, there's a physical reaction, and that's what you show the world. So of course, through your body language and stuff like that, we've seen it through many of my videos, how the inner beliefs show out in the external actions that we have. So once we start controlling ourselves, controlling our emotions, knowing what we're feeling, we can start knowing ourselves, and that way we can start trusting ourselves, and that way we can start trusting people. Alright guys, so hopefully that helped out with a couple of tips about Daring to Trust by David Richo. Out and about, what I just talked about.